Okay, when we first started making these door hanging designs, I told myself that eventually I would learn how to create my own design rather than downloading other people's designs. But then I went to K&G and I found this. This little patriotic sign is exactly what I'm looking for right now. I'm going to go ahead and break my promise to myself, and we're going to download this sign. Hello everyone and welcome back. Once again, I'm Roy from Stonecress Designs. Welcome to our humble shop. So in this video, we'll be downloading a very patriotic door hanging design. We're going to take you step by step through the process to go from digital download to fully finished product. Now it's not that difficult, so let's get it done. All right, so we're going to get started right over here on our laptop. And I apologize if you could hear my heater in the background. It's a little chilly here on the East Coast this morning. Beautiful day, but it's cold. And as an old guy, I just got to have my shop heater running. Again, if you hear that noise in the background, it's just me keeping warm. Moving on. So the first thing we're going to do is go to a website called K&G Now, I'm not affiliated with these guys. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. I'm just inspired by the way they make their signs. And they've been doing it for quite a while. I probably came upon these guys a couple of years ago. They were painting some signs, and they were probably my inspiration for purchasing my first COT laser. So the first thing we're going to do here is head into the laser ready digital download section. And I'm going to warn you right now, once you get in there, it's like a big old rabbit hole. I mean, focus, because there are tons of designs that these folks make, and they don't just make them as designs per se. They actually create and sell them as well. So you can buy these as a digital download, or you can buy these outright from their website, which is pretty awesome too. So we're going to find our particular design, click on it, download it, and bring it over to LightBurn. All right, so we've successfully avoided the rabbit hole, we stayed focused, and we purchased and downloaded our Eagle design. It's not easy to do on this site because there's so many cool signs to choose from. So what I've done on my desktop is I've set up a folder, and I drop the file right inside that folder. It's a zip file. It's going to be easy to open. You'll be able to access it right from LightBurn. All right, so now we're going to open up LightBurn and import our new design. Now, I always use the AI design file, meaning Adobe Illustrator, because it's just a bit easier for me to manipulate, and it works perfectly in our program, LightBurn. I sell 12-inch, 16-inch, and 20-inch signs, so we're just going to import, manipulate our signs within the program, and go from there. Okay, so I've been tweaking our design just a little bit here, and what I've done is I've used my rectangle tool to create an image that represents the size of the wood. So I created a rectangle that's 24 inches tall by 36 inches wide, and that's going to represent our wood size. I could probably make two signs here using 3 pieces of wood. The bases are going to be 6 millimeters thick, while all the other layers will be 3 millimeters. So the next thing we want to do is get our machine ready for framing. Okay, over here by the machine, the only thing to do now is to load in our wood, check our autofocus, and then we can run our frame. All right, so now that our material is in the machine, we want to run what's known as a frame. Now, what a frame does is it'll move the laser head along the outermost boundary of the design right here in the machine. So if that laser head goes beyond or outside the edge of your material, you'll know it right away, and that's what we do. All right, so we ran our frame. Everything looks good. The laser head stayed within our material boundaries. Now we're just going to lock it down with magnets, and we're going to cut, see what happens. Okay, so I think we're ready to get underway here. We're going to press the start button, and just to be honest, I've never run this file before, so I'm not sure what's actually going to happen. Here we go. Okay, so before I even try to remove these pieces out of the machine, I want to bring your attention to this right here. I, being so forgetful, forgot to turn on the air assist for my cut. So the engraving went fine, the scoring went perfectly, but I scorched a little bit of the sign, and that's just going to require me having to clean that up a little bit. So removing char, the best way to remove char is with a little bit of alcohol. I use a 99% alcohol and a little piece of fiber cloth. That'll clean that right up and we should be good to go. All right, so the basis for our patriotic sign here came out pretty good. Again, I got to clean a little bit of char off of here, and I'm just going to get that done with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and they'll be ready to set aside and go on to the next layer. All right, so we're right back here, right back into LightBurn, and now that we've cut our bases, we're going to just move that file out of the way, and we're going to concentrate on our top layers. Now, once again, I've never used this file. I've never cut this file, so I'm not sure what's going to happen when I press the button. I'm hoping that everything cuts and engraves the way that it's supposed to, so it all comes together. And 9 out of 10 times when I cut these files, I learn how they come together after I take them out of the machine. But we'll see what happens. All right, so it looks like everything cut perfectly. I'm not sure how this all goes together yet, but I'll figure this out tomorrow. I'm going to go get some shut-eye, and I'll see you in the morning. All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Had plenty of coffee. I think I'm ready to start taking these pieces, placing them on our base, and kind of see how they all come together. Now, one of the things when you download from K&G, one of the things they do is they'll send you a PNG file or a image file of what it looks like completed. And that helps a lot when you're trying to put these things together and you're like me and you have no vision at all. So let's get started. All right, so that came together relatively well. It went together a lot easier than I expected. We've still got a little bit of scrap. I'm going to have to hide that from my wife, Donna. She likes to use the scrap to make these crazy little things. So I'm going to toss it out before she sees it. Anyway, the only thing left to do now is to figure out the paint scheme. Well, like I said, I have an image that I can reference to get the colors correct. I may change a color here and there, but for this particular design, I think I'm pretty much going to stay where it is. I generally put together a recipe for each one of these things so that they're repeatable, thinking that we're probably going to sell a few of these. And honestly, even if we don't sell a lot of these, I want one on my door. All right, folks, that just about wraps up this sign. We painted all our pieces. We've glued them all into place. One more thing I wanted to mention to you guys is the way K&G sets up this file. They actually included some alignment tabs. And what this does is it helps us align the whole design when we're gluing down our pieces. So nothing gets misaligned or messed up. Because I use CA glue, and once you use that, and you glue something in place, it's not coming apart unless it breaks. I'm looking at this sign now, and I feel like I don't even need a bow on this. It looks like we can just hang this the way that it is, and it'll look fine. We've got our little brand stamp on there. I don't know if you can see it here. Stonecress Designs, we engraved that in there. Nice little touch that we put on here. The only thing left to do here is to seal it up. And the way we seal this up is we use a few coats of WaterGuard, Olympic WaterGuard. We let that cure, and then we put a nice lacquer finish on it, mid-wax satin finish. And that'll finish the sign completely, and that's all there is to it. All right, so I had a lot of fun putting this sign together. I hope you enjoyed this video. It really was the first time I ran that file, and when I tell you I figure it out as I go, I'm not kidding. When I run that cut for the first time, I have no idea how it goes together. So I'm just kind of experimenting and hoping I don't glue something down where I shouldn't glue it down. As far as parameters and all the links that we talked about during this video, I'm going to post them right there in the description so you can figure out all of that. If you've got a 100-watt laser, you might have a nice place to start with the parameters that I use for my 100-watt machine. Other than that, they're probably not going to matter at all. Anyway, I just want to thank everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.